Does anyone else have any comments before I go into mine? If not, I'm going to try to address some things that have been mentioned and try to avoid repeating anything that another commissioner has said. First thing I'd like to do is talk about the unassigned fund balance. We hear a lot of numbers from time to time, but I prepared this along with Brian and Anita to make sure my numbers were correctly. In 2014, our fund balance at the end of the year, according to the audit, was $19,120,000. We're projecting at the end of June 30th, 2018, which is a 5-year period, that number will be $13,855,000. That's a pull down of the fund balance of $5,265,000. Now, what did the commissioners do with the money that they pulled down? This is not a complete list, but I'm going to hit the highlights. And this is in order of the size of the amount of money that we were pulling out of the fund balance. The first one was in 2016. That was for the radio system. That number was $1,806,000. In 2017, we addressed security at the school system and safety. That number was $558,000. In 2015, we addressed at Eastern Elementary the multi-purpose building that had been on the drawing books for years and years. That was $500,000. Now, these are all capital expenses. These are not for reoccurring utilities and salary. Then in 2016, I think the board was unanimous when we purchased the First Bank building. Was it not? I'm sorry? Okay. But that amount was $477,000. In 2015, I understand the Washington High School field house had been on the drawing board. We approved that and we appropriated $450,000. Then in 2016, we got a chance to purchase land adjacent to the community college. That number was $211,000. Here again, this is not for utilities and it's not for salaries. Then in 2016, this board decided that we wanted to be in the EMS business, and our startup cost for 3 vehicles was $208,000. Then in 2016, phase 2 of the Wrights Creek property, we decided to purchase the adjoining property for $200,000. And then in 2016, at the pleasure and the wishes of the board, and we addressed security here at the courthouse. And I'm only using the 125 because that was the equipment. The additional money that we appropriated truly did go for salaries. The numbers that I've got here, which is for capital, is $4.5 million. So we pulled down the fund balance, 5.2. We didn't do anything stupid. We addressed problems that this board was elected to do. Now, I'm going to address the loan, the $3 million loan. I'm not sure anybody else will take the credit, but I was one of the ones that suggested that we start with a loan, unless Anita or Brian would like to admit to that. But I challenged them that we own the First Bank property, so we got to fix it up. You know, otherwise it's not an asset that we're going to be able to use. So the choice is sell it, fix it up, and use it. So I told them, I said, we don't need to be doing a tax increase. We've already spent the $472,000 to pay for it out of our savings account. You know, most business people, if they're buying property, they're going to, they're going to borrow the improvements or they're going to borrow the purchase price. So I challenged them. Okay, and after I challenged them to do that, that's when we got the word from Raleigh that we were having problems within the jail and within this building that we had to address. So when that number came in, which is a moving target, that's roughly $500,000. Now, you can call that reoccurring expenses, but by golly, I don't think it's reoccurring. We're not going to fix the First Bank building up at one time, hopefully. Then we're throwing in there a generator for the Seaboard building. That's definitely a capital item. And then we're throwing in the loan $105,000 to pave the parking lot at Tideland building where the Board of Election and other offices are at. But the big one in here, one of the big ones in here, which is a roof replacement of $418,000 for the Seaboard building. You know, I guess you could debate it, but if you do a roof and you depreciate it for 20 years, that's capital. And here again, a business, if they had pulled down their fund balance or pulled down their savings account, would be saying to themselves, if we are going to do it today, you know, we can't up the price. I mean, we could up the tax rate to do that. And that was one of the options that we discussed in the process. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands. You can debate maybe a $195,000 roof on the courthouse annex or $90,000 roof on the old jail as being reoccurring and something we should do. By doing this, we were able to go ahead and move some of these projects up without a tax increase on the citizens here in Beaufort County. With that, I'll stop. And do you have any more comments? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2017-2018 budget.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve the 16-17 budget as it stands.
17-18.
Yeah, excuse me, 17-18.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Brennan, a second by Commissioner Buzzio. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, all those opposed? 5-2.